As we all know, trees are boring. So with it being the Christmas season, I decided to make them fun again by climbing some trees and putting some Christmas tree toppers on them. Unfortunately, this tree is a little on the small side. We can go bigger, much bigger. But first, we need to go back, because tree toppers like this don't just spring up out of the blue. They spawn from an absolute hatred of buying cheap tat, and the shops this year were full of cheap tat. So I did what any sensible person would do and made my own. I had everything one could want when making a Christmas tree topper. I had an old sock with a hole in it, some white cloth, some random hardware, some wire, a half-used can of black spray paint, and a sewing kit. All I needed was something to make the body out of. Yeah, that should do it. So we have our topper and we have our tree. But as you probably know, one doesn't just jump into tackling a beast like this without any practice. You've already seen my first practice tree, and while it was a little on the small side, it did teach me a valuable lesson. Santa is a little on the heavy side, and that ended up causing me some real problems later in the day. But let's not worry about that for now. It's time for some tree climbing. For my second tree of the day, I decided to go with this lovely little apple tree. Sorry, I meant really boring apple tree in need of some decoration. It's not much of a challenge, but it's perfect for a warm-up, which is exactly what I needed because it was bloody freezing. So after a little run around, I stripped off some layers and started climbing.
Let's go. First, I'm going to have to put you up on the tree, sorry. This is so awkward. We are in tree number 2.
Wow, doesn't that look so much better?
Okay, time to get down. Did it.
So that climb was a bit of fun, but I'm not going to pretend that it was particularly grand or difficult. And honestly, it wasn't really much of a warm-up either. So before I attempted to tackle the final boss of this little adventure, I decided that one more practice tree was in order. So after scouring the local area, I settled upon this beautiful, incredibly dull oak tree. Perfect for a quick spruce up from Mr. Santa.
Time for tree number 3. This one's a little bit more difficult. Looks something like this. But to get to it, I need to get through all these brambles. Okay, made it up the first part of the tree. Only a little bit left to go. I'll bring you out when we're a bit closer. Okay, top of the tree's just up there. I'm going to put you in prime seating position.
This is where the problem I alluded to earlier started to come into play. As I mentioned, Santa is a little on the heavy side, but that isn't the only problem. You see, I modelled the wire part of Santa on what you normally see on tree toppers, thinking that when I reached the top of the tree, I could just plop Santa down on a branch and he would stay put. Simple as that. It was not as simple as that. Instead, Each time I wanted to put Santa anywhere, I had to bend the wire of his base around whichever branch he was on. And in this case, that meant precariously balancing between two wobbly branches, using one hand to hold Santa in place, one hand to bend the wire, and 0 hands to hold me in place. But after a bunch of faffing around, I finally managed to get Santa to stay still. And doesn't he look great?
There's me, there's our beautiful surroundings, and up, where is he? I can't even see him. And out there is our Mr. Santa. Wonderful. I guess it's time to make our way down.
And with that, there was only one thing left to do. I was warmed up, I knew my game plan, and I was ready to take on my final challenge.
He's going to the top.
Indeed he is, because this time I was going all the way. On the last climb, I couldn't quite get Santa all the way to the tippy-toppy of the tree because the branches were just too thin and wobbly. But this time, I wasn't going to hold back. I was going to get Santa right to the top or die trying. Okay, maybe not die trying, but you get the point.
That is where we're headed. Let's go. We are getting there. We are quite a ways off the ground now, and it looks like the top is very dense, so I'm not sure how we're going to do up there.
So up until this point, the climb had been going pretty well. But unfortunately, this is where I hit a bit of a snag.
Okay, so I appear to have hit a bit of a snag. Like, literally a snag. It's getting really dense, but I'm very close to the top. So I'm going to leave you here. I'm going to point you up and see if I can get to the top. Okay. Come on then, Santa. We're going.
And so I pushed towards the summit. As I climbed, the branches just kept getting in the way, scratching at my hands and face, and it was genuinely quite an unpleasant experience. But at that moment, I saw the light above me, and after a few more moves, I emerged above the canopy.
Aha!
Now, there was only one challenge left, and it was a challenge. Santa absolutely refused to stay put, but only one of us was coming down from that tree, and it was going to be me. Finally, after almost 2 minutes of precarious wrestling, Santa gave in and took his place at the top of the tree.
Yay!
And it was beautiful.
Santa at the absolute top of the tree with an absolutely incredible view to boot. And with that, I'll meet you at the bottom.
Now, all I had to do was climb down to safety and—
Ow!
What? What did you do?
Just speared myself. Ah! Oh, damn. Oh my god. Oh, look at that.
And so, forevermore, Santa will remain atop this tree as a symbol of Christmas cheer and of making trees less boring. No, that was a joke. I didn't leave Santa at the top of the tree. I'm not a litterbug. I went back up and I got him, okay? Instead, I cut Santa free of his wire harness and allowed him to live out the rest of his days with his Christmas decoration friends.
Until next year.